It is absolutely a buyer's market right now. More than half of these books are available at or below the 12-month averages. Are you going to be buying? Stick around and find out.
I'm just going to kick it off with a brand new book this week. We're talking Absolute Wonder Woman #1 that came out just this week from DC Comics as part of their Absolute line of side story alternate universe comics. We're seeing $10 average sales for this book. Seems kind of weird to me. It just came out a couple days ago, and it's got a $5 cover price, so don't overpay for this.
This book hit, and it hit hard, just like Batman when it came out a couple weeks ago, and people are sleeping on this Absolute universe, and I think that's why they're all playing catch-up. This book itself is available on my wall at the shop for cover price, and I think there are a lot of shops that bought copies of this, but people are having to go online because wherever it is selling out.
Similar to Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman takes the origin story of these characters that we've known for decades at this point and totally changes them up. It works because it's a side universe full of completely brand new, fresh takes on these characters, which is what we want. Keep your eye out for Absolute Superman #1. That's dropping in just 2 weeks. And then at New York Comic Con, we got confirmation of upcoming Absolute series. We've got Absolute Aquaman on deck, as well as Absolute Martian Manhunter and Absolute Green Lantern.
And don't forget about Absolute Flash. These are going to be great jumping on points, and I think a lot of people are just not paying attention. So go to your LCS and order at least the first couple issues of all of these Absolutes. You will not be disappointed.
#9 on the list tends to show up every so often, every couple of months. It's been 2 months since we talked about Amazing Spider-Man #194, the first appearance of the Black Cat. We're seeing a 106% increase in copies sold of this book compared to last week. It's hitting about $350 average sales, and we saw a $2,100 buy it now for a 9.8 happen earlier today, actually, as we're recording this.
We are seeing a 106% increase in copies sold this week. And why should you listen to us? Because we are here every single week doing this trending 10 list as we have been for the last 6+ years. Comic Tom's not here this week, but you know what? Fire Guy Ryan and I are holding down the fort, doing a great job here. Is there any news that's driving this Black Cat this week?
We've seen the Fortnite effect happen with characters like War Machine and Gwenpool in the last couple months on the list, and apparently Black Cat is available in Fortnite too. I don't know if that's factoring into this being on the list at all. We have Black Cat on deck, and Amazing Spider-Man #66 actually has a pretty nice makeout cover. And then we've got the ultimate version of Black Cat appearing on the cover of Ultimate Spider-Man #11, which drops November 20th. But is any of that really justification for this character to be on the list right here?
So whether it's Black Cat just in people's consciousness or the fact that the 9.8 is $500 down from its yearly average, you decide this might be the right time to pick up this big key.
#8 on the list is Ghost Rider #28, another book we've kind of talked about recently. We're seeing $25 average sales for this one and a $100 sale for a CGC 9.8. This last hit the list 3 weeks ago, like I just said, at #4. This is the first cameo appearance of the Midnight Suns. And as always, it seems like there's always some sort of background supernatural horror speculation and hope for the MCU.
It's a 138% increase in copies sold this week. And during the comic boom, this book peaked at $550. So I think people are just picking it up in anticipation. You would actually figure the opposite would have happened because they moved Blade off of the 2025 release schedule, and that has just been in production hell for years now.
While they have taken Blade off of the release schedule, it hasn't stopped fans from speculating that perhaps they're going to start with the team first, the Midnight Suns project, and then filter out into individual standalone stories later on down the line. Either way, it is encouraging to see this much hope for the horror supernatural side of the MCU. It's definitely, in my opinion, because of Agatha All Along and the surprising success that show has been having.
And even with the last earth-shattering episode of Agatha All Along, only 2 more to come next week, we did not see any books on the Trending 20 over on Key Collector. And for those of you that are following along at home, the Trending 10 we do is actually sourced from a larger list of 20 books over on the Key Collector app, the best collecting app in existence, available for Android and iPhone. You should really use it. It's going to up your collecting game.
Use code TOM101 for 2 free weeks of the paid version of Key Collector. That's where you find the Trending 20 and a few other different nice features of the paid version of the app. Let's get back to the list. Russ, take it away.
Number 7 on the list, we have Venom Lethal Protector. Number 4 And on the trending 20, we have Venom Lethal Protector number 5. We have from a very good source, a friend of ours that went and saw the Venom movie last night, that a substantial number of symbiotes show up in the new Venom movie. So number 7, we're seeing $15 average sales and an $85 buy it now. This is the first appearance of Scream, Agony, Lasher, Phage, and Riot. And from what I've heard, it sounds like there are so many symbiotes you can't even keep track.
All in all, we're seeing a 160% increase in copies sold of issue number 4 of Lethal Protector. And yeah, like Russ is saying, there's so many symbiotes in this movie. You've just got people buying issue 4 and 5 just to get all of their first appearances, cameos, full appearances, etc. covered. Cover all your bases. Just grab the entire Lethal Protector series. It's really good. And Tom and I actually did a full breakdown of that book like years ago in the first few months of the channel, way back when.
Number 6 on the list was a surprise to a lot of people. Predator number 1 from 1989 and Dark Horse Comics. We were seeing $60 average sales and $435 for a CGC 9.8. It's a 163% increase in copies sold this week because we talked about Blade getting moved off the list. Well, that was replaced by Predator Badlands and a second secret Predator project.
So we've known for a while that Dan Trachtenberg, the director of Prey, that came out on Hulu a few years ago, the Predator movie, he has been working on a sequel, Predator Badlands, for, ever since Prey came out, and that movie has been, we've known about it, we've actually talked about it in the last few months, but it hasn't gotten a confirmed release date until this last week when it replaced Blade on the MCU release calendar. But we also got confirmation that a brand new secret second Predator movie is in the works, and it will actually release before Predator Badlands. So we're going to get 2 movies, both directed by Dan Trachtenberg, in 2025. All Predator all the time, baby.
I really loved Prey, so it was sad when I heard that Dan wasn't coming back to do Prey 2, but these new projects definitely excite me.
Next up, number 5 on the list, Star Wars Darth Vader number 3 from 2015. This is the start of Kieran Gillen's run on Star Wars, the introduction of Dr. Aphra and her crazy psycho murder droids, 2 of my favorite characters in the Star Wars Disney comic era. $40 average sales for this book, and we saw a $156 buy it now CGC 9.8 happen just a couple of days ago. There's a 167% increase in copies sold of this book across the board. Why?
This absolutely kills me, and this is one of those books that is so far off from its height and so far down from the yearly average. We are seeing auctions ending in the $100 range, and I know people are excited about seeing 000, people are excited about seeing Dr. Aphra, and if and when that is actually going to show up in the movie or in the television universe. But even though the all-time high sale of just over $1,100 is a bit of an outlier, we were seeing consistent sales in the $500 to $600 range for a CGC 9.8 as recently as 2022. This has gone down a lot, and really, if you're a Star Wars fan and don't have one, this might be the right time to pick it up.
Maybe part of the reason this book is so far down is that both the comics and the movies, TV show, Star Wars, they're kind of moving past this time period. Dr. Aphra had her heyday in the alongside the original trilogy of Star Wars movies, which is where the comic books have been ever since this era of comics started in 2015 back then. We're moving forward now. The comics are telling stories in the sequel trilogy era, and Aphra would be quite a bit older if she comes back in that time period in comics. I still think that'd be kind of cool. Like an old lady Aphra comic series. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it could be cool. Either way, it seems like this is probably, if you're interested in the character, like Russ mentioned, this might be the time to jump on it.
While it is universe expanding, I'm seeing, especially with my readers and obviously the people that are paying attention to what's happening on Disney Plus, they're just not caring as much about the High Republic stuff. They're just not caring about the future stuff. They really kind of want that core with the main characters or ancillary characters.
Another character that's pretty far down from their all-time high. Here at number 4, we've got Beta Ray Bill, Thor, number 337 from 1983. We're seeing $120 average sales for this book and a $350 buy it now for a 9.8 just a couple of weeks ago. 171% increase in copies sold on Beta Ray Bill compared to last week, but again, what's the reason here?
Beta Ray Bill has been on spec radar since before Thor Ragnarok, and the fact that we ended up seeing him on the tower in Thor Ragnarok fueled a lot of rumors that we would end up seeing him in, I don't know, Love and Thunder, and we just haven't really had a whole lot of Beta Ray Bill stuff happening. This is another one that while we looked and looked, could not find any actual reasoning. This may just be the fact that it's so far down from its all-time high of $1,700, again, comic boom price, But even with the yearly average down at 400, this is a perpetually relevant key. This is a fantastic Walt Simonson cover, and just one of those books that I think is a great pickup to have.
Speaking of fantastic covers, I got to throw my hat in the ring for this one. Batman 608. This is the first part of the Hush storyline from 2002. We're seeing $20 average sales for this book and pretty consistent $100-ish sales of 9.8s, give or take, of course, according to each sale. 222% increase in copies sold of this book compared to last week, because last weekend at New York Comic Con, it was announced that Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee would be returning to the main Batman title to write a sequel storyline to Hush, which is obviously really good news if you're a fan of Batman like myself and like most of you, I would imagine. Jeff Loeb is one of the best writers for Batman and DC Comics in general. I think he doesn't get nearly enough credit, but to have him and Jim Lee back again on the main title is extremely exciting, even if that means that will mark the end of the current run on Batman by one of my favorite writers, Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez on pencils.
I am cautiously optimistic on this one because I loved the original Hush run. I mean, really, Hush is one of those villains, and the story is just fantastic, and Jim Lee's art just makes it. I was so disappointed when they had the DC animated, and they completely and totally changed the characters. And that was the last time that we talked about this book on the Trending 10 over 5 years ago. So right now, the fact that they're doing a sequel, or a logical sequel, or something that incorporates the same characters, I don't know. I love Jeff Loeb. I love Jim Lee. But this is one of those that jury's out until I actually get a chance to read it. But if you haven't read the first Hush, grab it, get it, make it happen. It is a masterpiece.
Yes, we should all be reading Hush again. Do it like me and get it in the Absolute Edition. That's the best way to read it. It's enormous. It's beautiful. Also, do like me and get the Mystery Mail Call. You've got a couple weeks left to sign up for the... You like that?
Yeah,
that was good.
Yep.
The November Mystery Mail Call is in open enrollment right now. You've got until the 15th of November to sign up, so you got some time, but why delay? Act now.
And the first mail call exclusive this month is Gargoyle's Quest 4 by Marco Mastrazzo, a beautiful cover, and a second one will be announced very soon.
ComicTom101 if you feel like checking that out. You can get some comics from us. You can support what we do. We would appreciate it. We have all these comics just sitting around here. We need to get them out. We want to get them to you. So let us do that. We're going to get back to the list. We just talked about a Jeff Loeb Batman book on the last number, and we're going to talk about a different Jeff Loeb Batman book on the next number. We've got Batman Long Halloween, issue number 6 at number 2 here from 1997. $10 average sales. We did see a $155 sale for a CGC 9.8 last month in September.
It's a 240% increase in copies sold on a book that I believe nobody was specking on, even with the new Long Halloween coming out right now at your LCS. You should go pick that up. But Sophia Falcone is showing up and is proven to be a very large player in the Penguin show over on Max. And there have been flashbacks to when she was younger, kind of giving a little bit more backstory. And what I found really interesting was the fact that they did have Carmine Falcone, but it was not John Turturro, who I loved in the movie. I didn't love how he ended, but that's okay. So we actually looked into this, and John Turturro came out and said that he was not willing to be in the Penguin movie because of violence towards women. So it is sad that he's not able to be in this show, but Sophia Falcone is a character that I think everyone needs to be paying attention to.
I do think, however, Mark Strong, who played Sinestro in the Green Lantern movie, of course, he's doing a very fine job in these Carmine Falcone flashbacks. But yeah, don't do like Russ and skip Penguin or wait to binge it at the end. You got to be watching it all throughout. I don't know what the hell he's thinking here. Sophia Falcone's killing it. I haven't seen the most recent episode of Penguin, but apparently she gets up to some really cool stuff, and it makes sense why people would be looking into her first comic appearance after the performance that Kristen Milotti has been putting in the show week after week. She's been killing it. I might even like her more than Colin Farrell's Penguin.
That is a bold statement, Ryan. Number 1 on the list, something that surprisingly, it seems like nobody was specking on, but you probably all should have been, especially with the new Venom movie that just came out. Number 1 on the list, Venom number 1 from 2018, the Donny Cates run. $10 average sales, $30 for a CGC 9.8 on auction. $50 is what they're going for a buy it now. I saw multiple sales in the $20 to $30 range. You can get copies of this book for less than it would cost to grade them, which is just insane considering we were seeing sales in the 150 to 175 range back in 2021.
The exact reason why this book is at number 1 involves spoilers for Venom: The Last Dance. I looked up why this book is at number 1 on the list. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to spoil the events of this movie for you. However, you do need to get out there and read this run from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman as soon as you can. It's one of the best runs at Marvel in the last decade, and it all starts here in this book. We've talked a lot about issue 3 lately. That is the first appearance of Null, the god of the symbiotes. We've talked about Venom 7 and 8 and 9. Yet later on in this run, that's when we start getting Dylan Brock, Eddie's son. But regardless, you should just read the entire run. It was 35 issues, I believe, and one of Marvel's greatest.
A 433% increase in copies sold this week because of the movie. But yes, like Ryan said, it is a fantastic run. Donny Cates did do an amazing job the entire time. And the characters that were introduced are still playing very heavily right now in Venom War and should be for many years to come. He did a great job of building the character, more backstory, and introducing more symbiotes. It's a great read. Go get it.
That's all we got for you this week. You made it to the end. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. Maybe leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about any of these books. Maybe you haven't read Venom from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman and you feel like poking your hand up and getting slapped across the face from me in the comment section. I won't do that to you. I'm just kidding, but seriously, go read that book. And as always,
geek responsibly.
Enough said.